an old school BMX that used to be an e-bike. Crazy amount of miles. Got me to my first girlfriend's house, got me over to my buddies' houses, got me to parties, and then in my adult years I decided to make it into an e-bike. I took an old boat trolling motor, 12-volt trolling motor for a boat. That went from the motor I'm only doing a quick test to make sure I don't have to ship this back for any reason. Temporarily hooking things up. Smaller wires will be for charging, bigger wire for the load. Throttle that I got has a different style plug. I'm going to just temporarily splice these together. So attach these pins, so I'm just going to try and charge. Okay, let's just keep. It's a 750 watt DC brushless 48 volt e-bike motor. Pretty big, but I wanted a mid-drive. I didn't want to have to deal with the hub or finding one that's 18 inches and the rear. I just did not like the hub motor kits. They're all pedal assist, or most of them are, and I just wanted something that I could twist the throttle and go, and that is definitely what this is looking like it's gonna do. Pretty big, just barely fits in here. Happy to get all this rebar out of this spot. That was a okay, so these stickers, after all these years, finally remember what they say. This one is Magna, just like the front there, and Fugitive on the top. Fugitive and Magna. It's been a long time since I've seen those stickers. Care too much about the scratch of the chrome on this part of the bars. got the old ones off, and now we're ready to get the new ones on. Alright, now that I got the bike all cleaned up, I can start putting a couple things on. First, I'll put on this American lower bracket to European lower bracket adapter, so I can get rid of that one-piece crank and get on this three-piece, or whatever you call it, European lower bracket with this square shaft so I can mount on a couple gears. Just a little bit at a time, going around snugging them up, and it's just slowly squeezing itself in there. It was also a pretty tight pinch. What a neat little upgrade. I like that. Feels like it kind of beefed up that little area. To want the longer, yeah, one of these is just a little bit longer. I'm going to want that on the electric motor side. So that's a big thing. It needs to sit. It sits out a little bit more than the gear. The only way that wanted to go on was with the short side. Over on the side I didn't want it on, so I think I could just flip the rear tire around. Not going to be too big a deal. I get the sprocket closer and where I need it to. The motor on that side, or the gear, the motor on that side, and yeah, that should work pretty good. Alright, there it is, all cleaned up and looking pretty darn good. About every speck of paint off of there except for maybe some spots in the cracks. I wasn't too worried about it. Alright, no problems. Just flipping the tire around over to that side so I can have the smaller shaft for the side that needs to get closer. That sprocket is just not straight, so I'm going to take the rear tire off and continue working backwards from the rear sprocket. Alright, so I'm going to weld this disc to the sprocket as a way to reinforce it, and also get me a new area to mark for a center. Alright, in order to center this, I got on Amazon and found the biggest center finding tool I could. It does not quite get over the peaks of these teeth like I was hoping, but actually it looks like it just barely rests on those two, so I don't know if that's going to even work. It should go out all the way past that, but I could not find one big enough to do that with. So I'm just going to maybe just do a few marks and see how well that looks. see if I can show that. There we go. Get that done. Boy, I could not have gotten that any closer to that frame. It's just barely rubbing. You can hear the small amount this gear is still kind of warped. But it's ever so slightly. Just lightly kind of tapping, holding this side, and then tapping on the spot that's bent. Alright, now I'm going to do the same thing with this gear. Plug it up and then center tap a new hole. And hey, look at this. That plug that I drilled out fits almost perfect in there. Let's clean that up a little bit with the grinder. It's a skinny piece of flat bar. I can make a square tube for that, square support, just so it doesn't spin. A couple things I added were washers. 2 on this side and 1 on this side just to help level things out when it's tight. And I put a couple on this side. That's initially why I even added them, was to get some clearance on the gear, which worked awesome. It actually turned out pretty good. Well, I thought that was going to go on there a lot more crooked than it is right now. It's in fact pretty darn straight. Alright, there's the plate. Now I will center tap the back of this, that way the whole thing is centered, the whole assembly. Alright, got those welds cleaned up pretty good. And I'd say that's good to go. Had a couple issues with alignment on the first set of holes I drilled. I just could not get this centered with that gear attached, and trying to use that square on those teeth, it was just a slightly different position every time. I don't know if you can see, but there are many different cross marks I made trying to get just two sets of them to line up. I went with the one that seemed the straightest, and yeah, it was a little bit off, so I tried a second set by eyeballing it, just leaving the gear on there, eyeballing it. That got really close, except that this hole wandered a little bit in drilling it, and so I just kind of wallowed that out with a rounded file and made that to where it can slip and slide a little bit on the gear, and that got it just about perfect. Nice thing about this is I could put this on a different 420 sprocket if I needed to go larger or smaller for different gear ratios. This is an experimental ratio right now, so there's a chance that I might need to do that and make this geared the right way. Alright, there we go. And that bolt that I picked up at the bike shop fits almost perfectly in the center of that sprocket. So that helps me line up the gear with the bolt that can shift back and forth. Looks like the bottom one there. So I can shift that wherever I need to. It's just a little tiny bit off, ever so slightly, and then I can cinch these down as well as tighten this down. So got a lot holding that gear all together. That worked out really good. I like it. Alright, so there's the bicycle gear attached on that side, and the 420 gear on the other side. 420 gear came out almost perfect for being straight and centered. This did not. I need to put that little piece on the end and do what I was talking about. It's really close, but just not to my liking. But either way, that turned out really freaking good. We could finesse with all the fine detailed stuff later, like getting stuff ultra balanced. Right now we've made a bunch of progress, enough I think to go ahead and move on to mounting the motor plate. Gonna make some lower and upper marks so I know where the motor can move to, or its maximum range on the plate while it's between this frame here. So that's as far low as it can go. That's as far up. They're looking pretty good. Alright, that took forever, and probably gonna have to go through one blade per hole, but that looks pretty good. I like that. Alright, there it is, my e-bike motor plate. Just gotta weld it on. Worked out pretty darn good. Alright, there it is, the motor plate all welded up, ready to go. Solid. Still pretty hot. Alright, just got the new pair of pedals welded on. 14 inches long, centered it, welded it, made sure it was the right angle, and turned out pretty good. So break it right about there, pop the pin out, extra slack will come off. Alright, there it is. First chain. Alright, for this sprocket we got the bigger 420 chain. Came with the master link. Take that. Set that aside. And got some bolts. Throttle next, I think. Alright, got the handlebars. They're got this ergonomic kind of shape to them. Just got this Allen on the bottom to tighten it. The throttle anyway, the other handlebar just slid on, or pushed on, is a very tight fit. It sits really nice on there, really firm. That is so weird. Having a throttle on my bicycle, oh my gosh, this is strange. Then throttle cord. It's gotten heavy. A quick test. Got it up on some cinder blocks just in case something goes wrong. Thing wired upright. Got the little key, or the power lock. I'm just using this for now. Just a barrel connector. And let's give the throttle a twist. Up. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Chain just popped off. Wanted to tighten that up a little better. Alright, sprocket's still good, chain's still good. I need to make sure I tighten this back tire. That's pretty loose. This bike's, I can already tell it's way too much power. It just wants to pick the front end up. Alright, found a way to get that bungeed in. Just for a temporary cruise here. Another one. Hopefully we don't throw a chain. Just get it tight. Maybe a little too tight. Yeah, let's loosen that just a tiny bit. Just gotta make sure we keep these pegs tight so the chain doesn't pull the tire forward. Throttle is way too touchy. I need new brakes. It's too heavy to stop. Alright, it's a head cam action. Oh my god, brakes! The brakes are no good. Oh. Whoop! I need a back brake before I try doing that. Oh my goodness. Might have to get one of those chain tensioners. Alright, good test. Good test. Pulls wheelies. I need rear brakes. Oh no, the f***ing battery. Just got in that bicycle cargo carrier and that still turned out pretty good, I think. I do now have a new problem, which is since I flipped this tire, this thing is now going in reverse, and apparently this is on here threaded somewhere because this started spinning, or just driving forward started spinning the whole back gear here, so it's unscrewing from something. So I guess I got a tack weld something, or maybe I could just use some permanent Loctite. Yep, the whole gear unscrews from that back ring right there, which is good to know. I would have made things easier for welding that on. It's pretty awesome, actually. So I could take this off and put it on any wheel I want if I want to replace this. But that leaves me with an issue of how to keep that from spinning off. Guess I could just try a bunch of permanent Loctite, the red stuff. These bearings replaced first. This might be a good chance to do that because these are pretty bad. What a fun thing to work on, these bikes. Everything's so small, I can just work on my table. Oh yeah, there's a bearing right there. Out of its sleeve, or whatever that's called. Collar. This is fun. There's where the bearing is supposed to be. Oh. Bearing retainer that holds all the bearing pack in. Seems to be chewed up pretty good. In comparison, that doesn't... Hard boiling some eggs and getting set up for some gaming. Having an easy day today. Alright, got these little bearings, little balls replaced and cleaned off some degreaser. Alright, back in action. I love not having the stunt pegs there. Feels like those will get a much better grip as well. Time for a test ride. Also got that red high strength thread locker in there. So hopefully that'll hold. If not, I'll just tack weld that. Semi-completed version 1 of the e-bike. That rides a whole lot better with those new bearings. Yeah, maybe the battery would be better off in the front. No, actually I don't. I don't want to get this dirty. Let's go to my hurry. Clean up this tire there. Up. Good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock p.m. You know, lazy horse over there taking a nap. Check that that side in first with the stem hole on the rim. Goes. Ouch. I really need to make a better thing for this. Alright, first run with the new tires. Well, I am having a load of fun right now, you guys. This is great. Hands are cold. I'm having a blast. Let's get these gloves on though. My hands, my digits are about to fall off. This is freaking weird. Just cruising my bike without pedals. Well, I got the mail and we're heading back uphill. Speed's actually pretty nice too. The gearing is on point, especially going up those hills. I would not want to gear that any lower or any higher. It geared perfect. Nice. Came in a set of two, one for the front, one for the back. Very cool, I like it. What the heck is going on over there? Awesome. Rear brakes, finally. Now let's put the seat on. See what this looks like. Oh, isn't that fancy? Alright you guys, it's time to build this battery box. And it's just gonna look a little something like that. Steel box with a couple tabs to mount with. Use a wing nut. Make it an easy on and off type of thing. Right now it's a bit of a pain. I'll mount the connectors, got a power out connector and got one for charging. Alright, there it is. All done except for some paint, some cleanup grinding and wire wheeling left to do, but I think I'll hold off on that, just make sure everything goes together. Make sure I like it, and we'll paint it at a later time. Alright, got all my marks made where I want the display. Yeah, there it is. I like it. It turned out awesome. And drill a couple holes. So, battery wire and key and voltage display wire. There we go. 54 volts, 100%. Alright, got a fuse in there. So everything after the switch, like the power meter and the connection that runs off to the speed controller on the bike, will have some protection. Alright buddy, how's it going? It's time to attach this battery. Probably even move the controller up to here if it'll fit. Make things look a little nicer. This was all temporary anyway with these. Alright, got everything all put on there the way I wanted it, and it looks great. Love the way it turned out. Got the speed controller welded on in this little spot between the frame. Got all my connections made. Got rid of that bus bar and just used bolts, and yeah, everything bundled up really nice. I like how everything's all tucked away. Looking good. Gonna make some chain covers next. After losing a pair of jeans, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen again. Our connection and the key connection. The RV here, it's too hot out and before taking it on a long cruise. That yep, she's a good idea. I like it, that works awesome. That is neat. It turned out very well. Alright, there's the first piece. Just going to wrap around the chain and give me something to mount to. So do that, and then I'll put I'd love to get some of that metal grating. I think that would look really cool right there. So alright, all done with this side. I'm not even sure if I'll do the other side. Maybe I'll just put like a little bar or something. I don't really care right now. This is the troublesome one. So there we go. A mounting bracket, tight fit. Flop it around, it'll slap the back side of this and makes a clank every once in a while, which is a little annoying, but I think at some point I can maybe cut some channels out of this so the chain has some room to move around. All right, there it is. All right, no more rubbing. It worked out awesome. Just needed to cut a slot. All right, here we go with the chain guard on this side. Just a simple piece of steel there to block that spot where my jeans can get sucked in. Could weld a little piece of metal right here to make sure this stays upright, but these bolt down so tight that I don't know how that could come flipping out like that. Plus my foot will be there, so. There we go. No more baggy jeans getting up in there. Alright, went and found one of Patch's old sway bar bushings. Cut it in half. There's a split one, so I just had to cut one side. Made it a half. Yeah, that took the gap out of that. I like having the bracket like that, so it's just one bolt to worry about. Slip it in, take it off. I like to charge it off the bike, so if anything goes crazy, I can kick it out the door. Usually charge it down there. I'd say we are looking ready for an e-bike ride. I love seeing that water tower every now and then, stopping by. And there it is on the right, my old neighborhood. Gonna take a left though. Go over here by Labor Ready, where my temp agency is. And this used to be, I believe, a Minute Mart, and my dad always took us up here to get these chocolate mint things. And then over here is where I came I tried to get my GED here, over in this Clark College branch. Is this even a spot? They're like pre-learning classes so you could pass your test, but I never really got around to it, finishing all those. Alright, there's that cool big old water tower. This big old parking lot. This whole area, this is my home for the first parts of my life. Or this area, it's my neighborhood. So let's strap on the camera. Let's go cruise past the old house. Yeah, lots of memories around here. Now, where to go? Where to go? Oh no, that wasn't the turn. It's up farther. Du Bois Park. Immediately. Pure nostalgia. This house, I love it. These houses don't change ever. I love it, I love it. Even the smell is familiar. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. So this was a park that we used to catch salamanders out of, me and my dad and family. Boy, they are sure digging it up over there. Gosh, it's so great coming back. Oh, there it is. Gosh, that looks different. Yep, and there's my dad's garage, and my first time riding a bike on it, with training wheels anyway, was just around in that little area. And then when I finally rode an actual bike, big kid's bike, my dad was pushing me down the street here. So that's it. That's my childhood house. There used to be a big old tree right there. So it's a little different. It's painted a darker color, and there's some window shutters missing. But that's it. That's that same brick right there, and the same pillars. There it is, my old childhood house. This guy got some solar. Yep, that's it right there. That's my old home. I knew these guys. There's some memories in that house. They had a cool basement full of everything. Had a whole bunch of stuff in their basement. But mostly I remember this piano that would automatically play with a sheet with holes out of it. So right now I'm kind of taking the ride I used to when I was a kid. Pedaling around on my little scooter. These houses are all the same. I don't know them, but yeah. So, boy, yeah, they're changing up that park pretty good. That's different. something. I think I need to start up that welder. Alright, got a couple pieces cut there. The choke on this is fried again. Yeah, look into that, figure out what's going on. Alright you guys, here's my cheap, well not really cheap, but quick flagpole and flagpole holder. Flag patrol. So here's the hoodie station. Christmas tree. A beautiful view of the river here. The Lewis River. Alright, let's make some more rounds here.